So called out to this job, and as you can see there's water running down the wall. Now the water is actually running out of this overflow here. It's actually a discharge pipe. Now if we look, we can see that there's no overflow. It's not coming through one of the soffits or high level. It's coming through the centre of the house. So it's either a toilet or a discharge pipe. In this case, it's a discharge pipe, and that PRV there is letting by. So we need to go off and get a new one. As we've gone off, we've got our multi-block valve, combination valve. There's loads of things that you can call it. They are calling it on here. Let's see if there's anything that says what part it is. Description, multi-block. Yeah, so they got multi-block on here. So multi-block valve, combination valve, inlet control valve. So basically, there it is. Same as what we got upstairs. Now, what do you need to know when you're ordering these? Well, first off, obviously, I'm going to take a picture of this cap here so we know what bar of pressure the pressure relief valve is set at. On this one, it is 8 bar. Now, your pressure reducing valve here, these are set to 2.1 bar. So that's something to note as well. A lot of these, commonly, they're set at 3 bar. And then the pressure relief valve is anywhere between 6 and 10 bar. So all manufacturers are different. So that is our valve. So we've got that. Now what else have we got? We've also got our temperature pressure relief. So temperature / pressure relief valve. Now why have we got this PRV? That's the acronym, PRV, pressure relief valve. Just in case we swap this over, it still drips. There's only one other thing this could be. So I'd rather have it and be safe than sorry. So I've got this as well. Now this is set to 10 bar. So this is 10 bar on the cap. And it also says 90 to 95 degrees because it's temperature / temperature. Temperature / pressure. So it will do, if the pressure goes crazily high, 10 bar. And it will also do, obviously, 90 to 95 degrees. Why 90 to 95 degrees? Well, anything after that is boiling, and that thing could go bang. Because when water turns to steam, it will expand. I think it's 1,000 times. When water turns to steam, I think it expands 1,000 times. Something crazy like that. So, essentially, in your house, if you've got a unvented cylinder, it's like having a bomb in your airing cupboard, but it's a very safe bomb because we've got this, and this has got 2 safety features. Pressure coming in is going to be reduced. Pressure can't get too much. Can't get too much temperature. Can't get too much pressure on this one. And then also you got all of your electric controls. So your thermostat is going to be set so it knows when it gets to a certain temperature. If it's starting to get too hot, it's just going to shut off the electric. So they're very, very, very safe. So let's get these installed. So very easy if you follow the pipe back from the valve and you go all the way back, not towards the cylinder, but backwards, you might find that there is an isolation valve. In this case, we had a stop tap there. Now, you just need to turn off the cold water mains. If there's not one in the airing cupboard, just turn off the cold water mains. So, let's get it disconnected. So we're going to start by removing any pipe work on the PRV that's going to get in the way. So usually just remove a nut. A lot of the times this is hard piped. And this is a bad installation, really. It should have been hard piped with a T. But it's Ozo. I think that probably was the way that manufacturer says you can do it. It must have been. Now, I'm not in control of what someone else has done in the past and what they put on. So we're just going to put it back how it was before come the end of this job. Now, we're not here to service it. We're just here to replace a part. So we've opened up the PRV, the pressure relief valve, and we have made sure that there's no water running through this. Now, it's quite high up, so shouldn't really be any water coming out. We will have our tough tub there, so we can catch any water, any residual water that's just in the pipe work. That's probably all there will be. Now, if this valve is positioned even lower, then you probably will have to drain down the cylinder. But in this job, it's up quite high. So all we need to do is just get it swapped over. We don't need to do no draining down really. Just get a tub. Make sure you've always got a tub next to you to catch any residual water. So looking at the olives and the nuts on this pipe. Now you could leave the olives and nuts on from the original installation, seeing as we're replacing it like for like. Wouldn't be a problem with that, but we're going to be replacing the nuts and the olives just so that everything is nice and shiny. Not that this is the cleanest, nicest looking airing cupboard, is it? But we're going to swap over the nuts and the olives. Now, the olives pulled off quite nicely because the last plumber had not over-tightened the nuts. Now, if you're distorting the pipe when you're tightening anything up, then you are over-tightening it. Now, over-tightening is always worse than under-tightening. Because if you over-tighten it and it leaks, there's no going back. There's nothing you can do. Whilst if you under-tighten a compression nut and then you go to tighten it, you can just tighten it up. If it leaks, just tighten it a bit more. So we're going to paste up all of our olives. Now I always use paste. You can get loads of different pastes. This one in particular is made by Regan Premier. You can use it on gas pipe installations as well as water. Now of course you could do this dry, but different plumbers are all different really. I like using it. I like using paste. So we're going to install this valve. So let's get it on. Luckily we've got some play on the pipework, so it's quite easy to put on. Now just make sure that directional arrow is facing downwards, going into the bottom of the cylinder. I mean, we know what it was like from before, and if you haven't memorised which way round the valve is, it's not going to fit anyway. So we've got it in. We just got to tighten up those nuts. So just be ever so careful just not to cross thread. So if it's giving up a particular amount of resistance, then you probably just cross threaded it. So we'll get the water back on, and then we're going to leave this installation for 5 minutes to see if we've got any leaks. Now we just need to put our finger inside of the ton dish just to make sure that nothing is dripping. But we're actually going to remove the ton dish so that we can clean it. Now you'll notice here as well, I'm just tightening up the packing gland. So it's basically, it will just stop that dripping. It's always good practice just to give them a little nip up, just to test them to see whether or not they are loose, as that could potentially cause you some problems in a callback. So we got that ton dish off. Now this makes it easy because now we can check the temperature relief valve and see whether or not anything is coming from there. Luckily that all seems nice and tight, so we're going to put everything back together. Now we've cleaned up that ton dish just slightly. It's a little bit of an improvement, isn't it? Now you do need to run your pressure relief valve and test it to make sure that it does actually work. And there we go, job done.